What single event in 2017 can be seen as the beginning of the end for the global drug super-cartel? Stay tuned to find out why investigators feel that attending a lavish event at the world's most luxurious hotel in Dubai might be the biggest mistake members of the super-cartel ever made. Welcome back to Crime Chronicles. Today we take a look at Daniel Kinahan's wedding and how it helped investigators identify the global super-cartel alliance. Kinahan has managed to keep many of his relationships secret, with little known about his wife, Caoimhe Robinson. His ability to distance himself from gang feuds and attempts to legitimize his business dealings had allowed Kinahan to grow the cartel his father started into a transnational criminal group. In May of 2017, he married his Dublin-born partner Caoimhe in a lavish wedding bash in the oil-rich Middle Eastern city, with some of the world's most sinister drug barons and criminal gang leaders in attendance. The wedding took place at the 7-star Burj Al Arab in Dubai and was a focal point for investigators. The guest list for Daniel Kinahan's wedding forms crucial evidence against some of the world's biggest drug kingpins, as a series of secret text messages are unscrambled. Investigators piecing together evidence from an underworld supergrass and secret text messages unscrambled 6 months after the nuptials realized that the wedding could be the catalyst leading to the downfall of an international supercartel. The party, in May of 2017, attended by friends and associates of Kinahan, as well as senior underworld figures, happened as Dutch police began to investigate claims by a witness called Nabil B. The witness made statements linking underworld mobsters Redouane Taghi, Ricardo Riquelme Vega, also known as El Rico, assassin Naval Farsi, and Italian Camorra boss Raffaele Imperiali, who all attended the festivities. 6 months later, PGP, or Pretty Good Privacy, messages discovered on a server in Canada provided the hard evidence that sealed the alliance of the super-cartel, who was suspected of moving almost 30 billion euros of cocaine into Europe. PGP, or Pretty Good Privacy, is an encryption program originally designed in 1991. The program has been freely available on many platforms since that time and has been used by the underworld to provide encryption for messages and emails. Dutch journalist Tom Jan Meijers has explained how the wedding could have been dismissed on its own as little more than evidence that the players, including Kinahan, knew one another. But together, with the phone hack and claims by Nabil B, it has become a significant piece of the jigsaw of an incredible boom period in the underworld, which turned individual gangs into a narco force like no other. The Marengo trial, currently underway in a courtroom known as the Bunker in Amsterdam, is the biggest ever conducted in the Netherlands, and is centered on Taghi, arrested in Dubai in December of 2019, and 16 of his associates, all accused of 6 gangland murders. This trial is one of several international law enforcement actions taking place that can be linked back to Daniel Kinahan's Dubai wedding. In a separate trial, El Rico, the Chilean, was convicted of operating an assassin ring and laundering money. While he has received an 11-year sentence, further charges may follow if Chilean and Dutch authorities can agree on extensions to the original extradition document that saw the criminal arrested in Santiago as the major investigation continued. According to sources close to the case, under Dutch law and at the time of his extradition, charges of murder could not be brought, but that may change in time. Reports from the Netherlands have indicated that Nabil B, once part of Taghi's mob, has stopped talking and is in a standoff with authorities over his safety and security. He has already lost a brother and his former lawyer, Dirk Wiersum, who were both assassinated in the run-up to the trial, obviously to derail the justice process. He has complained that his girlfriend is not being afforded enough security as he is due to give evidence at the Marengo trial. However, Nabil B's testimony may not be critical to the case, as PGP messages accepted as evidence that convicted El Rico are also being used in Marengo, and will likely be enough to seal the fate of the so-called Mokro Mafia. The investigation started running when Nabil B handed himself into a police station in early 2017. He said that his life was threatened and he wanted to talk to the police about underworld killings. The story behind that was that he was involved in organising a couple of the killings, and in one case, the wrong person was executed. It seemed they made a mistake during the shooting, which has happened a lot in the Netherlands in the past few years. The issue was that the person who got mistakenly killed was a member of a known Dutch-Moroccan crime family in and around Utrecht. Nabil B knew him personally and knew his family as well. He was involved in organising the killing in that he sold a car to the shooters, which they were going to use for the getaway. The family wanted to talk to him and know who else was involved in the assassination. They wanted to know who ordered the killing, and he was caught in a difficult situation. Eventually, he rationalised that he either died or talked, so he decided to talk. This is the beginning of what we now know as Marengo. Nabil B gave his statements between January and May of 2017. Later, police captured a huge amount of information on PGP devices after two servers were discovered, one in Canada and one in Costa Rica. That was the first big crypto communication catch that the Dutch authorities made. In that huge amount of messages was a lot of evidence supporting statements that Nabil B had made, and was hard evidence against Taghi and his crew. While on the run, Taghi attended Daniel Kinahan's wedding, and it was later heard when lawyers travelled to Dubai to meet with police that undercover officers had watched as Daniel Kinahan arrived at the hotel. The manhunt for Taghi only began in early 2018, 6 months after the wedding, and after officers had started to get a grasp of how Taghi, Farsi and El Rico had joined together as a national force in the Netherlands, and as a global force with Kinahan and Imperiali, along with a Bosnian outfit known as the Tito and Dino cartel. Imperiali had long been an El Rico associate, and they had worked together in the past. In 2016, Italian police found 2 stolen Van Gogh paintings on the kitchen wall of a house in an Italian town near Naples, which belonged to Imperiali. The paintings were subsequently returned to the museum. Police were starting to piece together the evidence and realised that this was a multi-layered criminal organisation. The Dutch trio had teamed up in the world of cocaine smuggling and also in underworld killings. They all had their own business and drug lines, but they also worked together as part of a coordinated group. Together, they are considered a Dutch national criminal organisation, and on top of that, they were working as an even bigger transnational organisation with the Kinahans and others. A staggering 3.6 million PGP messages were seized on the Enetcom server in Canada, providing evidence for the relationships between the key figures in the global drug smuggling ring. So why do we think the Kinahan's lavish wedding in Dubai is so important? Well, we have a situation where many of the world's biggest drug cartel members are at the wedding. They are seen socializing together by investigators. But what does that mean, other than they know one another? The bigger picture became clear when they saw the messages exchanged between these criminal kingpins, and the investigators could hear how and about what they communicated. A much clearer picture has emerged about their dealings, which has led to a number of arrests, travel bans, global financial sanctions imposed on cartel members and their businesses, and large bounties offered for senior figures such as the Kinahans. It is hard to think of any other single event in the past 10 years that has had a bigger impact on global crime than Daniel Kinahan's wedding. So if you're a crime boss and get invited to a wedding, it might be best to give it a miss. Thank you for joining us today on Crime Chronicles. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for the craziest stories from the world of crime.